On April 5, 2025, the world watched in astonishment as former US President Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs on goods from most countries. These tariffs, ranging from 10% to 50%, sent shockwaves through the global market. The Dow Jones plummeted by 3.9%, its worst day since 2020. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 also experienced significant drops, reflecting the widespread fear and uncertainty. Despite the market's immediate negative reaction, Trump remained defiant, claiming the tariffs would ultimately boost the US economy. He insisted that companies were already moving manufacturing back to the US, a claim met with skepticism from many economists. The tariffs, calculated based on each country's trade deficit with the US, were unprecedented in their scope and severity. The world braced for a trade war, the consequences of which were difficult to predict. Would this be a temporary disruption or a harbinger of a new era of protectionism? The answers to these questions remained unclear, but one thing was certain. The global trade landscape had been irrevocably altered. The international community reacted to Trump's tariff announcement with a mixture of condemnation and apprehension. Key US allies like Canada and the UK wasted no time in announcing retaliatory measures. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney revealed plans to impose a 25% tariff on certain US vehicles. The UK, meanwhile, prepared a 400-page list of US products that could be subject to similar tariffs. The European Union, led by Ursula von der Leyen, warned of dire consequences, hinting at a unified response from the bloc. China, a frequent target of Trump's trade policies, promised resolute countermeasures. Other countries, like Australia and Italy, expressed their disapproval, while urging a measured approach to the situation. The World Trade Organization, WTO, issued a stark warning, predicting a 1% contraction in global trade growth due to the tariffs. This revision, a significant departure from their previous forecast of 3% growth, underscored the severity of the situation. The world watched with bated breath, hoping for a diplomatic solution to avert a full-blown trade war. The impact of the tariffs was felt immediately by businesses and consumers alike. In the US, fears of rising prices loomed large as businesses grappled with increased costs. In Canada, auto workers in Windsor, Ontario, expressed anxiety over potential plant closures and job losses. Their fears were not unfounded, as Stellantis, a major automaker, temporarily shut down its Windsor plant in response to the tariffs. Small businesses, often operating on thin margins, were particularly vulnerable to the tariffs' ripple effects. An olive oil producer in Italy shared his concerns about the impact on US importers and consumers, highlighting the interconnectedness of the global economy. While the tariffs were met with widespread criticism, some saw a silver lining. In India, for instance, there was cautious optimism that the tariffs could potentially benefit their manufacturing sector by making them more competitive compared to China and Bangladesh. The global tariffs imposed by former President Trump represent a watershed moment in international trade. The immediate impact was undeniable: market instability, heightened tensions between nations, and widespread uncertainty. The long-term consequences, however, remain to be seen. Will this protectionist policy ultimately benefit the US economy, as Trump claimed, or will it lead to a global trade war with devastating consequences? Will it accelerate the decoupling of the global economy or pave the way for new trade alliances and partnerships? Only time will tell what the ultimate legacy of Trump's tariff tsunami will be. One thing is certain: the world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher.